mature Brahmin son, Shringi, cursed Parikshit Maharaj to die in 7 days by being bit by a snake bird. When Parikshit Maharaj heard that news, he didn't lament. He took shelter. He saw this as an opportunity. He's telling Shukadev Goswami that I just went some hours without water, and I was so distressed due to thirst. Now for so many days, I haven't had any food or any water. But just like the pure Ganges, Harikatha is flowing from your lotus mouth. And I feel so nourished. No thirst, no hunger, no distress. Now when we recite Srimad Bhagavatam, that is Sukadev Goswami speaking. In transcendental sound, it's not limited by years. That is Sukadev Goswami speaking. Srimad Bhagavatam is not different than Krishna. Why do we become so restless, sleepy? Parikshit Maharaj never fell asleep in that class. They didn't have watches those days, but he wasn't looking at the sun. What time is it? He didn't sleep, he didn't eat, he didn't drink. He just listened. That is the power of these beautiful narrations of Krishna. Parikshit Maharaj remembered when he was just a little baby in the embryo of his mother, Uttara. There can be no more dependent, helpless state for a human being than when you're in the womb of your mother. Most of us don't even remember that. Very inconceivable. It's not that you can just decide, I want to eat something now. You're totally dependent. If your mother doesn't eat something, you starve. If your mother doesn't protect you, you die. You're completely dependent on your mother for your food, for your water, for your life itself. You have free will, but there's not much opportunity to express it when you're in the womb of your mother. So somehow or other, by divine will, he had full consciousness when he was in the womb of his mother. And it was at that time Ashwatthama. He sent Brahmastra specifically to kill the little embryo Parikshit in the womb. Brahmastra is more powerful than any weapon that humans have ever encountered. It's a mystical weapon. It could give more light than the sun. More powerful than all the nuclear bombs. But so precise that it can enter the womb and attack its target precisely. Ashwatthama was so angry, so envious, so vengeful. he launched the Brahmastra. And as it soared through the air, the mother, Uttara, what could she do? How could she stop this weapon from coming? A Maharati, a great Kshatriya, the son of Drona, is sending it. Uttara loved her child, as any good mother loves her child. She would do anything for her child. Can you imagine her desperation? And it's only a matter of seconds, because the Brahmastra was not moving in slow motion. It was moving really fast. It was just coming right at her. She saw, it's just not even seconds till my child is dead. And it wasn't only about the mother's love for the child. He was the only descendant of the Pandavas. All their other children had already been killed by Ashwatthama. It wasn't something theoretical. Ashwatthama killed the 5 sons of Draupadi successfully. And now he's about to kill the last surviving descendant of the Pandava dynasty. She was helpless. In this regard, Srila Prabhupada tells that ultimately we're all completely dependent on Krishna's mercy. Even best mother and father, sometimes they cannot protect their child with all their efforts. Even if they're millionaires, even if they're billionaires. Even the best doctors, sometimes the patient dies. There's really no solution to the problems of this world. There's only some makeshift adjustment that may temporarily serve a purpose. But Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi, the miseries of birth, old disease, and death, they cannot be stopped by any material arrangement. So there was Uttara. With all her heart, with all her soul, she took shelter of Krishna. And Krishna reciprocated. Entered into the womb and annihilated the Brahmastra. And little Parikshit felt and saw everything that was happening. Little Parikshit saw his mother taking shelter of Krishna as he was about to die. And he saw Krishna come and save him. Sometimes we speak about first impressions. That was an impression he had before he was even born. Bhakti. He saw the most terrible, powerful, insurmountable danger coming right to him. And how his mother, just a tender-hearted, loving lady, she saved him by taking shelter of Krishna. And how Krishna reciprocated. Ye yatamam prapadyante. Krishna reciprocates according to how we surrender. She surrendered, and Krishna was right there. He personally saw the form of Krishna with his Sudarshan chakra. So that's his first experience of life. Uttara didn't do some mystic yoga. That wouldn't have worked. She didn't start reciting slokas. she surrendered her heart. Daiviheshu gunamai mama maya duratiya mame vamya prabhajante maya tadaramtita. And he saw that is bhakti. To take shelter of Krishna in total dependence on the mercy of Krishna. So that's how he began his life. And now how is he ending his life? He's cursed to die in 7 days. So what is he doing? He's taking shelter of Krishna. This Harikatha, hearing about Krishna. Krishna manifests himself through transcendental sound vibration. Can give us total shelter. But Parikshit Maharaj is not seeking shelter, surrendering, hearing without eating or sleeping, just to save his physical body. He was cursed to die. He didn't want to interfere with that. Let me die. Physically. He was seeking shelter of Krishna beyond birth and beyond death. When his mother sought shelter of Krishna, his little body was saved. But now he's seeking shelter himself, like his mother did. Not to save his body, for the ultimate liberation of his soul, and for the liberation of the whole world. In the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj also inquires from Sukadeva Goswami for our benefit. You have just explained in the 5th canto the hellish planets and what kind of sufferings people have to go through due to karmas in this world. How to overcome that, how to protect oneself from that. Sukadeva Goswami told that by performing pious activities, karma kanda, we could neutralize our sinful activities. But Parikshit Maharaj, he wasn't speaking for himself now, he's speaking for you and me. That even if we neutralize our sinful activities through pious activities and through yajnas and all of this, still the propensity is there, and we're going to do it again and again. What is the solution? That is his compassion for us. He's asking these questions. Sukadeva Goswami described the story of the life of Ajamil and how simply by chanting the holy names without an offensive heart, chanting the holy names, truly taking shelter in a state of sincere urgency, we could be liberated forever, purified of all of our sinful inclinations, of all of our arrogance, envy, lust, greed, anger, and illusion. That's the power of the name of God. So here Parikshit, he's about to hear the story of Krishna. And why do we have the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam? Because Parikshit asked on our behalf for Sukadeva Goswami, because he already told the story very briefly. But Parikshit Maharaj wanted to hear more. He was asking details. And to reciprocate with his eagerness, his lolyam, his deep eagerness, his sense of urgency, his sense of seeking shelter in hearing about Krishna. Sukadeva Goswami goes into the great details of Krishna's beautiful pastimes with his wonderful, sincere, eternal devotees. Sukadeva Goswami once again reiterates the same principle he spoke in the 9th canto, that remembering Krishna by hearing about him and chanting is the medicine, the only true medicine that could cure the disease of all sufferings from the illusions of birth and death. And in this regard, Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas explain that the whole creation of this material existence is Abrahma Pupana Loka Punar Avartunorjuna Mamupeti Tukontia Punar Janmana Vidyate. Wherever we are, whoever we are, from Brahma to Patala Loka, we have to suffer. If we live long enough, we get to grow old. And we have to die. And death isn't easy. We lose our body, we lose our identity, we lose all our possessions, we lose all the things we work for so hard, we lose our loved ones. Sometimes they die. Adhyatmakari, Daivakari, Bodhika, so many sufferings. This creation is to help us to take shelter of the medicine that we need. In due course of time, we have the opportunity to take very seriously what is it that is truly the solution. Prahlad Maharaj explains, if we're not hearing and chanting, if we're not performing the 9 processes of bhakti, and all the solutions that we're trying to take shelter of, the solution creates bigger problems than the original problem. Dukkalayam ashashvatam, because they're all temporary. They can never fulfill the needs of the heart. Enechi Ashadi Maya Nashi Barolaki Harinam Mahamantra Lao Tumimagi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I have come to bring the medicine that will truly cure the core disease, which is the source of all suffering. Forgetfulness of Krishna, that is the core disease. See, I told you. Nice distractions. Bhaktivedanta Manor, even the distractions are really sweet and that medicine of hearing and chanting, remembering Krishna, awakens the eternal soul. And I was just listening to a tape of Srila Prabhupada lecture just before I came. I just, these days you just push buttons and all sounds come out. Srila Prabhupada was explaining how in a hospital, people go to hospitals to try to get relief from suffering. But the hospitals may be able to help you, or they may make things worse. But either way, you're going to get old, and you're going to die. But if you're in a hospital and you're hearing about Krishna and you're reading about Krishna, that hearing and chanting is the medicine that will cure you forever. So Janmashtami is a time when we understand Tatenu Kampan Susamikshramano. That the disturbance, the obstacles, the difficulties of life, Shri Radha Gopinanda Ki Jai. They are specially designed to humble us before God. If it wasn't for the problems of the world, we would probably be very lukewarm devotees. Yes, I will read Srimad Bhagavatam because I'm supposed to, and I will get my rounds done. But when there's urgency, when there's a sense of need, when there's a sense of hunger, you can't digest food unless you're hungry. If you just eat a massive feast for Govardhan Puja, and you're laying on your left side wishing you didn't eat so much, and then someone brings you a big pot of halava, what do you do? But if you're really hungry, then you could digest. So hunger is necessary. And the difficulties of life are opportunities to understand that there's a power beyond my own that I desperately need, and that power is Krishna's grace. It's disease, anxiety. What is the setting in which Krishna appears? I'm going to end now. But Sukadeva Goswami begins his narration, and it begins with materialistic, greedy, arrogant, exploitative, cruel, demoniac leaders. Have powerful militaries. And they're all over the place in this world. And they're fighting with each other. The militaries are fighting each other. There's so much death, and the people in general are under such a subjugated state. Does that sound familiar? Ram appeared because Ravana and all his people, Kumbhakarna, were attacking. At this time there was Kamsa, there was Jarasandha. So Mother Earth herself, just like Uttara was so concerned with little Parikshit Maharaj in her womb, Mother Earth was concerned for all her children because there was so much danger, there was so much suffering. The people who gain power just to serve their mind and senses. And Mother Earth assumed the form of cow. She approached Brahma, the original guru of our universe. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adakavaye. Similar, Arjuna approached Krishna when he was in danger. Parikshit Maharaj approached Shukadev when he was in danger. And here Mother Earth is approaching Brahma, the Guru, when she's in danger. And all her children are in danger. So the problems of life which will come our impetuses to humble ourselves, to understand truly and really that Maya is very powerful and the forces of Maya are beyond me. We need to humble ourselves. We need to truly, genuinely take shelter of Krishna. How? By hearing about Krishna with faith from devotees who have developed the taste for hearing about Krishna. Shukadeva Goswami says, these topics of Krishna are so powerful, they are so pure, that the person speaking, the person listening, asking the questions, and everybody else around who's hearing, everyone gets equally purified according to our eagerness to hear. Janmashtami is really a special time in our life to remember this. That Krishna has appeared in Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna has appeared within the holy names. Krishna has appeared within his beautiful forms with Sri Radharani, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Landadishwar. Krishna has appeared within the hearts of his devotees to reveal himself, to give us shelter. So let us prepare for Janmashtami by seeking shelter, not from material solutions. Parikshit Maharaj was not surrendering his heart for a material solution. He didn't care whether he died or not. The solution is eternal life. That's only possible by Krishna's grace. Whether we're on our deathbed or whether we're about to fight a war with our full strength like Arjuna, we all have the opportunity to humble ourselves with eagerness to hear about Krishna and to sincerely cry out his holy names. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhaktivedanta Thakur, in one of his beautiful prayers, he writes, I have seen and I have considered everything within the 14 worlds. And my Lord, I have no other shelter. There's nothing that can save me except your holy names. Kali Kale Namarope Krishna Avatar. In this age of Kali, Krishna incarnates with all of his potencies, with all of his grace in the form of his holy names. Krishna is Krishna's name. Namachintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasvigra. Krishna reveals himself in the name according to how we sincerely take shelter. According to how we really have a thirst and eagerness to be with Krishna in his names. And according to how we see others in such a lamentable condition. Srila Prabhupada was penniless, walking through, he was living in Bowery, but he would walk down Fifth Avenue, the wealthiest street, and at that time the wealthiest city in the entire world, New York. What was he thinking? His body was sickly. He was walking, didn't have a stable place to stay. He was seeing millionaires, billionaires, in beautiful cars, living in magnificent apartments and homes, Prabhupada was feeling so much compassion. The only thing that could save them is Krishna's names. I have come on behalf of my Guru Maharaj to give them Krishna's names. So let us chant in that spirit. Thank you very much. Will you please dance?